Hey guys, it's Charlie again, and today I will be previewing the Ohio State Buckeyes for this upcoming football season. Um, it looked like for a while last year that Ohio State was going to play in the national championship because they won their Big Ten regular season title. They went 12-0. Then they lost to Michigan State in the Big Ten championship game. If Ohio State had won that game, then they would have gone on to play Florida State in the national championship. They would play Florida State, and but it looked like for a while that they would have could have played Alabama because if Auburn had not beaten Alabama in the last game of the regular season, then um, Alabama would have gone on to the SEC championship and probably would have beaten Missouri. And it looked like for a while that the national championship matchup was going to be Ohio State versus Alabama. But overall, Ohio State finished 12-2, losing their last two games. They did lose to Clemson in the Orange Bowl in a thriller. That was a very, very high scoring game. Very good game last year in the Orange Bowl. Last season, I should say. Lost 40-35. Um, of course, you gotta talk about Braxton Miller when you talk about Ohio State. Just had over 2,000 passing yards though, but he had a good touchdown to interception ratio, 24-7. If he could just bump up the passing yards, I think that would be great. He is a Heisman contender for sure. He was also um, he also had just over 1,000 rushing yards for this Ohio State offense and 12 touchdowns. They do lose Carlos Hyde, who was one of their playmakers for this team. Um, they were fifth in the country last year in rushing offense, averaging just over 308 yards per game. Um, they averaged 45 points per game, and they were seventh in total offense, averaging just under 512 total yards per game. Um, you on the so Ezekiel Elliott will expected to be the starting running back, either him or Rod Smith. Um, Transfer offensive lineman Chad Lindsey comes in from Alabama. Um, then you have Devin Smith, leading um, receiver coming back. He had 660 yards and 8 touchdowns. You have Evan Spencer coming back. You have Michael Thomas, Corey Smith, and then you have big playmaker Dontre Wilson. He's not very big, but he is fast, very fast, and Ohio State uses him in the return game. Um, they like to use him on jet sweeps and stuff like that. Defensive side of the ball, they bring back Noah Spence. Um, he's I'm not sure if he's All American. Actually, he might be, but he's definitely a first team All Big Ten. Because he had 8 sacks last year. He's going to be a junior this year. And one guy I want to point out on this defense that's going to have a very bright future in his career is Joey Bosa, sophomore defensive end. He made a very big impact for this Ohio State defense last year. I can't wait to see what he does throughout his career. He's definitely got a bright future ahead of him. Um, and then your leading tackler, um, not coming back, but Joshua Perry, their middle linebacker, he had 64 tackles last year. And then Dorian Grant, their only starting defensive back coming back, he had 3 interceptions last year. Uh, um, as you know, Ohio State does recruit well because they've usually been one of those known powerhouse schools. They did get the number one outside linebacker in the country last year in Raekwon McMillan. He's expected to be behind Curtis Grant, so I do think he'll get decent playing time this year. yeah, Marshawn Lattimore. He's a corner. Um, I don't expect him to get a whole lot of playing time this year. One guy I do like though is Johnny Dixon. Um, Fortunately, he chose Ohio State over Miami. I really do like this kid. He's fast. He came from a powerhouse high school. Um, Although don't think he'll get a lot of playing time, but I do think he's got a bright future in college. Um, I do want to point out though, back to the defense. Um, Back to what I said, only one returning defensive back starter. That's not good because although Ohio State did finish 46th in total defense, which is not bad, they were 110th in passing defense, which is bad, giving up 268 passing yards. So they definitely need to improve in that area. They were ninth in the country though in run defense, allowing only 109 yards per game. Um, Overall, if you look at their schedule, uh, they'll beat Navy in their first game. They'll probably beat Virginia Tech. Um, I think they'll lose one game this year. I think they'll go 11-1. Not sure who I think they'll play in the Big Ten championship game. I think they'll either lose to uh, Michigan State or Michigan maybe. I just don't see them going undefeated because uh, if they had a good um, defensive back core, because I still have questions about that, then I wouldn't be surprised if they did go undefeated. But that's my main concern for this Ohio State team because their running game in Braxton Miller is going to be good. The passing game is going to be good because Braxton Miller will continue to improve. So yeah, overall I think they'll go 11-1. Not sure who they'll play in the Big Ten championship game. Um, yeah, uh, that wraps up my season preview for the Ohio State University Buckeyes. Please comment, subscribe, like. I'll see you guys later.